Ho ho ho, you filthy animals. Let's do a little podcast. Awkward. It's Tuesday. This is not supposed to be our podcast day, but if you were listening to the last episode, if you were here last time, there's some holiday things going on, and we had to move the podcast to Tuesday. This is the RGH Real Gamer Hour podcast with MTash, Cactus HD, and True Vanguard, and we've got some juicy topics today. How are you gentlemen doing?
Doing good, yeah. It's the Christmas episode, because I guess
That's right.
it'll be after. So we got some topics, and I think we could also talk about some at some point. I think we should, especially the after hours, we should talk about like some gamer gift ideas.
I'm down.
So you can send it to your mom, you send it to your grandma, send it to your dad, and say, hey, this is what you got to get.
That's right.
But we have a lot of other juicy topics to talk about too.
Yeah. The Christmas Miracle, hot tub, potentially December 27th.
Yeah.
So sooner than expected a little bit. Things change.
Actual Christmas Miracle.
So
I
I will
The
give
boys.
you all the details on when you should show up, and we will jump in the tub together, if you know what I mean.
I got a Christmas miracle too. I finally got a contractor to take my job.
Yeah.
I gotta build my addition. Oh, it's great.
And part of this edition, correct me if I'm wrong, is like an extra sleeping quarters, 2 queen beds, one for Tash and
The
I,
boys.
and the other for
that's
our
right.
wives, whatever.
That's
Right? In a little, so we could come, we can bunk, we can stay the night, and we've got 2 little stream setups, so we can all 3 game, stream, same house, TV's
Yeah.
house, the
Hey,
Real
man.
Gamer Hour headquarters.
Hey, your boy's getting a jacuzzi tub in the master bath now. So
Oh,
I'm just saying, if you want to,
saucy papa.
Dude,
If I have any recommendation, consider looking at the Bane Ultra series.
Okay.
Instead of having a jet system that sucks all the water in and makes all the pipes dirty, it actually has little motors and it pushes air out. And so it's a little bit lighter of a jet, but it still get the nice bubble. Not as massaging, not quite as massaging, but very sanitary and clean. Just I'll send you the details.
All right, yeah.
Great option.
Send me those links.
Yeah,
Hot tub
heated
stream.
backrest in them and everything. Oh, they're amazing. They're
Ooh.
really
So
amazing.
our version of a hot tub stream is not in a hot. We're just actually literally talking about hot tub suggestions in what you want to buy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's.
So
jump into
first topic, yeah, go ahead.
So Stalker 2 canceled their NFT project. Now, if I understand correctly, they were trying to use NFTs as like a token that you could get some rewards with. So it was actually kind of interesting if you had some of the highest level tokens, if you had the highest package of the NFTs, you could go to the dev studio and like check things out and everything, right? Like you got a tour
Yeah.
or something, right?
And then they would make you an NPC in the game. Now, here's the thing. Like, I know there's a lot of like NFT hate going on right now. This one I can't get behind. You know, what essentially happened was this studio, they're an indie studio. They don't have they're publishing the game themselves, right? And so it's a pretty ambitious project. It's a first-person shooter, like Chernobyl vibe. It's pretty cool looking. I've watched some of the gameplay. It does look pretty interesting.
Graphics are unreal.
Yeah, but they're totally on their own for funding the game, obviously. And so this was kind of a way that they were like, you know, obviously you don't have to buy any of these things, but it would be a great way to help fund the development of the game. We can be a little more ambitious with it, you know. And the community was just like, no, this is horrible. This is stupid. As soon as they saw NFTs, they were just up in arms. And of course, it got like mass circulated. And then people who don't know anything about the game at all are like jumping on like, yeah, screw NFTs and any game developer that wants to incorporate them. And anyways, so they pulled the whole project. Long story short,
Right.
They made a big press release. First, they were like, you know, we might pull it, and then they're like, okay, yeah, we definitely have to pull it. Everybody's hating on us now. That's not why we want our game to be in the news. So they canceled the whole thing and then pulled basically every post that ever talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more in depth because apparently I think from the article I saw they were gonna actually create like a Stalker metaverse and stuff. So there might have been a little bit more ties in with the actual game. which obviously it's like, how will these NFTs impact gameplay? That's a little bit of a concern. But yeah, like certainly, if you can do it right, then you can. I mean, like NFTs are certainly a cool thing, and certainly they're making people some mega moolah. Like if you're playing it right, you're laughing, right? You don't care that people trash NFTs from your mansion, right? And so you're like, who cares, right? Like people who are into it want to spend money on it, but it's always that question of like, okay, how is that going to impact gameplay? Am I going to have to buy a gun to use or something like that? Or if I, we talk about FOMO, imagine missing out on something that you have to like pay for later, and the prices is going up and up and up because you missed out on it. Like certain games, I mean, a really popular one like CS:GO. CS:GO has its skin store, right? That some skins fetch a lot of money,
like $7,000 for an AK-47 skin. Like,
right?
It's someone actually that you guys would know that's really into that is Robbie V, like from the Dream Team. Yeah. He's like really into it. He has a ton of different skins that he's bought and sold, and even there's like these I think he said they were called sticker packs that only come up once in a while, and inside of them you can get rare foils and all this stuff. And he like bought like hundreds of them and just sat on them, and he's like, they'll go up over time. And so he's like, he used it almost like a stock market, and he's like,
that's interesting,
really tracking it. And actually, Blue Westlow, I was listening to a podcast. He did, kind of similar stuff back in Team Fortress 2,
yeah,
because there's different hats
and stuff, yeah,
right. And there's different hats, and they were all talking about that, and it was like, whoa, this is really interesting.
And so there's games that have those like economies,
right?
Team Fortress 2. CS:GO, where you can buy and sell skins on a separate marketplace for real money and a lot of money sometimes. I mean, the Team Fortress like fire hat sold for like 50,000 or some insane amount of money, right? Yeah. So NFTs are kind of like that. It just uses the blockchain to certify kind of who owns this item, rather than, I guess, like a hat would just go to your account.
But it's like, do you need to certify it? It's like if Steam says,
well, you can steal someone's account, right? I don't know.
I guess, but like,
but then you can steal people's NFTs too.
Yeah, they could hack into your Bitcoin account somehow.
I don't think it's fair to say that we don't know enough that to like really determine if it's 100% good, 100% bad. I think though it's like games are kind of seeing this as an easy way to make money.
Yeah.
And then gamers are more like, even I think people who are into NFTs are kind of like, okay, but like, is this actually going to improve the game? Like Ubisoft is just randomly selling these NFTs for
Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Like that's 60 people still playing it or whatever. Sorry to anyone watching who plays Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
I played it for a while.
It takes 600 hours to get the NFT, by the way. That's getting sold.
They're driving to listen to podcasts. They're like, hey, there's people who play Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
There's me.
There are dozens of us. Dozens.
But yeah, the NFT for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, the one mask, takes 600 hours of gameplay to get it.
Bro.
And then, so some people have unlocked it, whether they're botting or macroing or whatever, they've got it, and they're selling them, and there's like a few $100 worth of sales. And so the thing is like, people need to realize is like, if a game studio or publisher puts NFTs into their game, their hope is the game is popular, people buy and sell these things, but they continue to buy and sell these things long term. Because with the CS:GO skins, some of those AK-47 skins have changed hands 50 times, 100 times, right? And they're taxing it 2% or 5% every single time. 5%, 5%, 5% to do that transaction and to certify.
They want to keep it in circulation.
Exactly. So they want to make that money long term. And even like if you look at the Diablo 3 auction house, they were taxing sales as well. So really similar thing. It's been done in the past, and they can make a lot of money if they keep transferring it. But the thing is like the game has to be super popular for that to really matter. Because if there's
Breakpoint, like
if there's 4 people trading this skin and it changes hands 100 times, it's like, well, it took us hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to do this, and we've made 5% of $400. It just doesn't matter. But like the other argument I always see is like, well, if they do NFT technology, they can't just take our items away when the servers shut down. And it's like, is that in the contract? When they make the game with NFT technology, they're like, we will never shut down the servers. Are they forced to keep the servers open? And the other thing is like, we own those items and we can use them forever. And it's like, how? Are you going to be able to use them in another game? No, you're fucking not. There's no way.
In fairness, I will say, I think it's because it becomes like a collector item. Like, let's say, what's a game they shut down the servers of? Like Club Penguin, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you had like your original like Club Penguin character from Club Penguin as an NFT. Even if they shut the servers down, it's still like a remnant, right? It's like,
I see, yes.
You're not playing Club Penguin, but you can own like an actual like Club Penguin character at the end.
I see.
If they shut the servers down, it gets even more rare type of thing.
You can't get a new
You can't get a new one.
Character. Okay, I see that side of it for sure.
It's kind of like Pokemon cards that they're not printing the original set anymore.
But does anyone care about that AK skin if they can never use the skin or
that's
or the
a
game
great
doesn't
question.
Exist? It's like I don't know.
That's a huge question, and I think it's really going to depend on the game. Like that's where the investment side of it is. Like if you know that this game, like Minecraft, you're like this game is going to pop off, right? I'm going to buy some Minecraft NFTs, and then years later they're going to be worth so much money. Yeah, but like that's a game that like you can. Yeah, so it's. But again, it's like, how are you? What is the time spent making these NFTs, and how is it making the game better, more fun, more engaging?
Okay, what's really funny though is I had a game idea back in the day that was like super similar to what these companies are doing for NFTs. Was like make it.
I remember you saying this.
I know.
I thought it was a dumb idea then. I think it's a dumb idea.
but like, okay.
Oh, no.
So the first person to get 10,000 headshots would get a skin for their gun, and it would be like a diamond skin, but they'd be like 1 out of 1. That's the only 10,000 headshots in the world. And then it would go down the list as more people would do it. And so you would have these skins, and it would be like a trading card almost, and you'd be like, I was the first person in the world to get 10,000 headshots. And then you could sell them to other people, but you would tax them. Exactly what the NFTs are doing is like you would take 5%, and then if your game is good and your game is popular, people would do it. But also, if you have a skin store, and like if you look at Fortnite and there's like the Banana Man skin, we're only selling 1,000 Banana Man skins. That's it. 1,000. You have this hour to start purchasing them, and then they're gone. Or you have this window of 8 hours to buy this skin, and after that, it will never be sold again. And then that marketplace of all these rare skins goes on. I think there's some really cool ways that they could do this, and they could probably make some money. And people playing it could make some money if they invested in it. But
yeah, but then who's going to get the 10,000 headshots first? You or some guy with an aimbot? And then you got to ban his account and you lose the skin.
That's
and
right.
there's all these problems that arise from that.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like, I think there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And it's like playing to earn is interesting if the game is genuinely fun. Like, look how many hours we put into Destiny. God damn. Can you imagine if my god rolled Supremacy Sniper back in the day, one of a kind Supremacy Sniper, probably one of the best snipers in the game back in the day, if I could have like sold that and been like, yep, here. Let me sell this.
I mean, if you
could have sold your account technically.
True.
No, but seriously, like, could you imagine how much do you think, like, if it had like a little, you know how when you inspect a gun in your inventory in Destiny, it's got a little symbol in the upper left-hand corner from where it came from, right? Which DLC pack it came from. You know what I'm talking about, right? Can you imagine if Grenadier Jake could sell his last word with his little logo in the upper left? You know, so that if someone who bought it could then equip it and then have it in game, and when you inspect them, you see the Grenadier Jake icon on it and his kill count on the gun. How much do you think that would go for?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Or if it was freaking
we can't even
the Lads Midnight Coup.
Okay, we can't even get them to give us creator codes. Now they're gonna have the Grenadier Jake signature last word. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but like I think we're far away from that. I think the real money wouldn't even come from God rolls, because I think God rolls would end up being super cheap, because you'd have people like, you know, we already have recovs. There'd be people grinding nonstop for the God rolls and then selling it on their like 17th account, right? The real money would be in emblems. Could you imagine how much the 24-hour emblem for Last Wish would go for?
I mean, right? Or,
my
12.
24-hour
Crown
of Sorrow emblem would go for. If it had one
the
day
said console,
if it had a little PlayStation symbol on it for one console, then it would go for way more. But unfortunately, it doesn't. But that's where I think. I mean, there already is a marketplace for emblems. People sell emblems on eBay all the time for quite a lot of money.
The thing is gaming isn't ever going down. It's only going up. It's going to be more popular.
Unless you're in China and they just say no, it's not going up.
A day.
Yeah.
True, but it is going up, and so if they come up with this NFT technology and I can play the hot new game, example, Fortnite comes out with Fortnite MMO, and I start playing it. It's the best game I've ever played, and it's I'm going to commit 8 years of my life to this and covering it. If I could also earn money because I've got the rarest guns or I put in the grind, I mean, that is really appealing, and it also motivates a shitload of people to keep playing that game and keeping the game popular. When they release a new boss with a rare drop, all of a sudden, everyone's going in trying to get that rare item to sell. And so, I mean, I wonder how many people played Diablo 3 to make money? How many people in Venezuela right now play RuneScape because they want to make money? And no, maybe they're not watching content creators, and maybe they are essentially degenerates killing the economy of the game, but the idea that I can play a game that I really enjoy and potentially make money, pog. Everyone, tons of people do that. It's super appealing.
Kind of what we're doing.
Exactly. So,
but unlike NFTs, we actually help the community.
I don't. I just complain, and it works. It's incredible. It's incredible.
And I'm getting a hot tub.
Yeah.
Thanks, Raid Shadow Legends. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, let's move on to this. This is kind of a crazy story. Final Fantasy had to kind of pull its game from stores in a way.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Online, the Final Fantasy XIV, is so shitty. No, I'm just kidding.
Can I say it has the opposite problem?
Yeah,
of Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Hey.
It's true.
Final Fantasy XIV, this is now the second time this has happened. This happened, I believe, with Endwalker. The servers were getting pounded because there were so many players, and they had to shut down people using the free registration. Because you can play a bunch of the game for free and do the test runs, 14 days, or I think it might even be a month. It's a lot. It's a lot of time. And they shut that down. But this time, they're shutting down registration for the game. They're shutting down playing the game as a new player for free, but also they pulled all of their marketing. So they're not advertising on TV, on YouTube, because they can't advertise anymore because there's too many people joining. They're like, we don't want to bait you into trying our game, and then you can't play. And so there's some advertisements you might still see going because they had pre-existing arrangements. But yeah, they've just completely pulled their advertising because they can't keep up with the amount of players. And it's
insane.
You already did this before. Didn't you expect with this brand new DLC that's coming out that everyone's talking about and everyone's excited about? Didn't you think the same thing was going to happen? The entire, conglomerate of Final Fantasy XIV players who already love the game and are obsessed with it, they're calling it the best Final Fantasy game they played, period. Better than 7, better than 8, better than 9, better than 10. They're saying that the story is equivalent to a full-on Final Fantasy game and better. That's crazy. When do you ever hear that about an MMO? Oh yeah, the story better than the original. Better than, no one's playing Elder Scrolls Online.
Hear that. Yeah.
I mean, maybe they are, but
for the story,
that's not true. Elder Scrolls Online has actually still got a pretty solid community.
Yes, but are they saying the story is better than Skyrim, the better story than Oblivion? I don't know. Maybe they are, but I've seen some of the highest praise.
They're not pulling Elder Scrolls from the shelves.
True.
Not just crap on Elder Scrolls, but it's Elder Scrolls is popular. It has a fan base. This is hitherto unknown science. This is
right.
This
is a global sensation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. When do you see this?
I mean, the thing is, though, isn't it kind of impressive that instead of completely botching their servers and bogging them down and people have like 15-hour queues, they're like, we're going to stop selling the game so that all the people that have supported us have a better time. We will
Yeah,
eat,
it's kind of
we
like
will
a
eat that loss.
noble. It's kind of like a noble thing to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, no doubt.
Until we can get those servers, we're not going to screw over everyone else. But also, isn't that like the craziest scarcity play too? It's like, oh, by the way, our servers are back on. Everyone's gonna be like, I'm downloading it now. I
gotta buy it.
Right?
Dude, I want to buy it now.
I know.
That's right.
I'm looking. If there's no new games, I've got a level 60 Dragoon. I've got some levels already in the game. I haven't played in years because I played right when it came out. I'm gonna go back and play once those servers open up and just
Start a new character with me and we'll play.
There you go.
The thing is you can just change weapons, and so I'm a level 60 Dragoon. But if I just equip a bow, I can become an archer at level 1. You don't have to make a new character. You just change your weapon, and I'd have to level up just like you. We could do that. I could be like a white mage, and I could heal you. Okay, do you know what? I'm getting too excited about this. We can't even play the game, bro, because the servers are shut down.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
It's like, I mean, gosh, World of Warcraft isn't even making content right now because everyone's walked out of the studio in protest. Meanwhile, their main competitor is like, we literally can't advertise this game anymore because we can't handle it. Yeah. Like, that's not good if you're World of Warcraft.
There's not much more to say about this topic unless you guys have anything. Do you want to move on to the Activision stuff?
Nope. Congratulations on your success.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
And honestly, it's kind of exciting. It's like, I hope you keep it up, and like, I hope more games have these success stories with communities that love them. I don't really ever see complaints about Final Fantasy, and
no, I really don't either.
It's so consistent. No. I gotta go on the subreddit though, because the subreddit's always gonna be toxic. I want to go and just see it. Maybe it's all praise on there as well. It's just like, we love the game. I don't know.
You go on the Final Fantasy subreddit, you're like, there's not a single death threat. This is unreal.
That's what I was just gonna say. That it's not like a Halo Infinite subreddit over there or anything.
But the thing is, Final Fantasy, they've done something not a lot of developers do these days. They've done something that not a lot of game companies are allowed to do. And it's called make a good game. And I mean, seriously, like, we've talked about this before. Like, they're not trying to pump out content. They let the game almost kind of die in between these like big expansions, but then they come out with these massive hits, these massive expansions, and they're just pumping out great content, right? And it's like, and they're not necessarily rushed to do so. Or maybe they are, but they actually hit their deadlines. And it's like all these other games, Battlefield, Halo, it all seems like rushed out, and it's just like, why don't you just launch a solid game? Like, Video Game Donkey did his like video on Halo today and just kind of talked about like, there's so much cool stuff about this. It's just so clearly unfinished. Like, if you just given it an extra year, have a proper open world, fix up the campaign a little bit, smooth things out a bit, you'd have like such an incredible game. And it's like, when we finally have a complete, solid, full game like Final Fantasy, people flock to it.
Yeah,
that's right. That's why I always thought Outriders could have done that if they reached a broader audience. I think their approach to the game was sort of in that same spirit, where they were like, we just want to make a really good game. It's not going to be live service, but we're going to put our heart and soul into it. I think if it was a game that it wasn't quite there. It wasn't the right genre for it either. It's sort of a niche, sort of a genre. I don't think everybody's looking to run around with guns that have like boils on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The dev like culture was what you need.
It was good. Yeah. I will say every developer that I interacted with while trying to make content for that game was very passionate about it.
They've got a DLC coming out. Mm-hmm. Try it out. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we really slipped this Final Fantasy topic in here because of all the people who say we only have bad things to say about video games these days. So
one guy said that one time. True Vanguard reads all the comments. He's so rattled by that.
I do read all the comments, for better or worse. Often for worse. I feel like our live chat is always so, like, the people who show up for the live chat are always so cool. And we get good viewership on our and listens on our show, but obviously you can't see comments on the podcast. audio files.
It's just a
So
guy
but the
driving
YouTube-
saying how
the-
annoyed
but-
he is.
Yeah, that's right. But the YouTube commenters, I swear, it's like a solid third
I
of them
never
are
go
just people
down
who
to that
hate us.
cesspool, dude. It's just
Dude,
people being like, Package doesn't stop
literally-
interrupting. Like, of course, I know. That's why they got me, boys.
I
'Cause
sit there in bed just scrolling, reading those.
Oh.
I just laugh to myself.
Dude, yeah, I don't read. No, you don't. First rule of
Bob.
YouTube: don't read the YouTube comments. Actual cesspools. All right, moving on from there.
So Activision threatens employees. They essentially said, "Hey, heard you guys are thinking about unionizing. That's cool. That's cool. But I would definitely consider if we find out that you signed anything." They essentially said, "Think of the repercussions if you sign that." Just that's all we're gonna say.
Yep.
Which is crazy. And I mean, there is pros and cons to unionizing, but at the same time, what's working at Activision isn't working. It's not
it's
working.
It's one of those things where it's like they outlined some of the downsides of unions aren't all upside. They have some downsides. They said, hey, listen, if you unionize, this union will represent you. You no longer represent yourself as an individual. You're going to get the same amount of pay. Like, we'll have to have a senior game developer. You get the same amount of pay. No matter what project you're on, no matter what, like, you have, you know what I mean? That's standardized across this union. And there's sometimes that's good. Sometimes if you feel like you're working on an extra hard project, you'd be like, no, I want to get paid more. Are they actually getting paid more? That's a whole other story. The point here is not to discuss the pros and cons of unions when it comes. That is a very large economical topic that people are going to have some pretty hardline political stances on either side. That's not what we're doing here. The issue is that the timing and the optics, right? There's something called optics in business. Like, how does this look to the outside world? It doesn't look good. I think we talked before the show. Nothing's getting done on Warzone basically right now. Like, a huge amount of the Call of Duty studios are not working right now, with solidarity of all the QA team that got fired that we talked about earlier. So not a lot is getting done in the studio. Bobby Kotick is still there, baby. That guy's gone nowhere. The CEO of Activision Blizzard, who saw all of this explode under his watch, he is not going anywhere. He's still there. And then you come out with this letter being like, don't you dare unionize, right? It's like, it just doesn't look good.
They've got to give somewhere. That's the thing. Like, every attempt that their workers make to make things better, Activision just meets with more aggression, right? They're shutting down everything they do. They have to give somewhere, right? And it's not that unionizing might not be the ideal situation, but I feel like people are just pushed to the point of desperation where they're like, listen, if you're not going to work, if you're not going to do anything for us, we got to unionize.
Exactly.
And so I totally understand that sentiment. And people in the comment section are asking, well, what are the cons of unionizing? And that's a good question. I said there's a lot that goes into this. It's not as simple as, oh, it's just someone who's going to fight for your rights on your behalf. Sometimes that can mean that there's a pay ceiling. For example, like, everybody who works in your similar position is going to have a ceiling of, here's what you all get paid now, because that's what the union says. And any attempts that you make to outperform your peers, maybe you perform really, really well, you might struggle to get things like bonuses, raises, and things like that, because you're just set at the same level as everybody else, regardless of your performance. So it's got pros and cons, no doubt about it. But even though it might be the best move, it might not be the best move. But the fact of the matter is, Activision is really just not giving in anywhere, and they've got to compromise.
Yeah. It's like the issue is not the unionization. Again, it's another thing negative against the employees. It's like, this is the letter you send out. Like, no letter about Bobby stepping down as he should have forever ago. No letter about all these things. Like, actual actionable things that, like, one of the things they're doing is they said, like, oh, we now have a zero tolerance policy towards harassment. It's like, how is this like something that you would not like? Was it not like? Shouldn't it been like that from the start? Like, we allowed a little bit of harassment, but now no harassing your fellow employees. It's like, why is this a thing that's getting announced? Like, obviously the the tolerance towards harassment should be 0. Like that's the standard.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, are you patting yourself on the back? Like, yeah, now you can't get harassed at work. It's like, okay, I should hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
Alrighty. It's weird. It's bizarre. I don't know.
And it's just like another like thing, and I feel like, I mean, people are already just not working, and I can't imagine that they can like fire a bunch of people who are like not working, because like who's gonna want to work there now?
Right.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
And like, at what point does firing all these people, or like, I mean, they've got to be bleeding money. Projects have got to be so delayed, it's not even funny.
I know.
I'm
Like,
shocked that like the share price hasn't tanked more than it has, because it's still at like $63 a share. And like, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, but it's like Overwatch is gonna be delayed, Warcraft is delayed, Diablo is gonna be delayed. What new games are you making? It's like, I don't know. Do investors not realize that like without games,
Dude,
I guess maybe Warzone is such a cash cow they don't care. But
yeah, like
even
I
then,
swear,
you said they're not working on it a lot. Like,
there's
rating
gonna be
studios.
like a report that comes out, and it's gonna show like empty studios and like how far behind they've fallen with all this, and then the share price is gonna like collapse. Like there's just gonna be like an article that finally comes out and says all this stuff, but man, just absolutely wild, like truly insane that it's still going on. And it's gonna eventually, because obviously they've done a lot. There's still people working. They've done probably a lot of work. Like stuff comes out quite a bit like after you've done it. So like a lot of the stuff that's coming out now, the work was still going on. The brunt of the work happened before all this walkouts happened.
Right.
So like there's gonna reach a point where then it's like we have nothing. Like Warzone Season 2 delayed inevitably, or like indefinitely. Like we don't know when it's gonna come out, type of thing.
Speaking of delays, though, something weird that happened yesterday is, did you see that Diablo 4 actually posted a quarterly update?
I watched it.
Really?
Yeah,
that's cool.
They came out with a quarterly update, and they're like going over like weapons and customizing weapons. So like if you have a legendary axe that says, I think the one on here is like 4% of fury, or like you'd get 4% more damage per fury spent, or something like that. Like a really cool little perk. You can dismantle that item and get an essence, and then you can put that essence on another weapon and like slot it in, and it'll boost it up to a legendary with that. So if you had like crap stats on something, you can like, or if you have terrible stats but a really good passive, you can steal it and like infuse gear, which is pretty cool. And then they showed the Paragon board. Like the Paragon system was these little passives you can do. They've almost got like a skill tree Paragon board, and you can like funnel into different bonuses as you level up and everything.
Oh wow.
They're showing animations for skills, and like some of the animations look like really good. Like the combat looks insane.
They were showing the damage radiuses like more match the actual animations. Like for example, you have like the thing where like the guy holds out the axe and starts spinning around. That's in every single game of all time, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So normally he's like,
I'll bring some up on the screen here just so you can.
Yeah. So normally the area of effect is just a circle. It's like it does damage in the entire circle, but now the damage is actually where your weapon is, and it moves and swings around. So it's like a little bit. You get that better like feedback of like, oh, that I'm damaging enemies where the axe is actually hitting, because it's kind of weird when you activate it and you know a character like near your back just dies,
right?
And you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like this is a lot more like what you're seeing on screen is actually going on in the background a bit more. Yeah, you can see that happen in the game.
And like the graphics and the lighting, it looks awesome. But it
looks good.
It's like
it looks so
when
good.
Is it coming out? And
that's the thing. I'm like, you're done. This looks done.
Right? What else are you doing, bro? This
right?
game, the textures, like the different maps. I feel like I've seen multiple maps and enemies. It's like, what else are you working on? Maybe they've got all the animations. They're working on the story, but this looks so good.
It looks very Diablo.
Before we get copyright strike.
Like even like the bridges and like everything about it looks very Diablo. I love it.
Yeah.
No, it looks great. And again, it's like it looks like what more this looks like very well done. It looks like the animations are there. Like this looks fantastic. And I definitely, I mean, we just complained about games being rushed, so we don't want them to rush. But it's like 3 years away. It's like literally 2 or 3 years away at this point.
Yeah, they said they didn't even have a release date for it. So that's so
not
shocking
good.
to me that they're that far along. It looks that good, and they're like, yeah, don't even hold your breath, which is
Yeah, they're
wild.
like, yeah, this game, rip. Like, see you in 5 years, stupid. Like, you're not
And
crazy,
so,
dude.
I guess some things must still be getting worked on. I guess maybe they've had that quarterly update being edited
For a
and ready
while
for a
now?
long time, but there must be some project happening at Activision, but it's like 4 people who work in like the janitor closet or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, my
And-
fear is that it's just going to end up being something that a lot of talented people really worked on for a really long time that just never sees the light of day. There's a game, I don't know if maybe you guys or someone in chat knows. I forget the
StarCraft
name.
Ghost.
I forget the name of the game, but it was at least 10 years ago that
StarCraft
this
Ghost?
game was shown off at like E3 or whatever. And it was like this sci-fi bounty hunter game, right? Where you're doing like parkour through this super sci-fi city, like big city. You're parkouring through the city and you've got these devices and you're scanning, you find your target in a crowd and then you have to like neutralize them and bring them in and get paid. It was
Wasn't that the original
futuristic
Prey?
sci-fi. I think that might be what it was.
It was Prey, and then they like redid the whole thing.
They scrapped the whole thing.
Yeah, 'cause they're
I
like,
think it was like
eh.
a funding issues or something. But I remember seeing the reveal for it, and I was like, "That looks awesome! Like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna play that."
Remember
And then it
Star
never
Wars
happened.
1313, bro? That looked fantastic too. Gone. Like, no one knows what happened to it. Scrapped when they bought LucasArts, or when EA got the rights.
Speak of the devil, did you play Prey? Like, did you end up trying Prey?
Yeah.
Oh, it was great. Like, just kind of like a horror. Like, did you play Dishonored ever? Like
No.
the
Or
assassin?
a little bit.
Oh, it was awesome. Like, you get all these different upgrades and weapons, and you're making your way through this like disassembled space station, and the enemies are this like mimic ectoplasm thing, and so like you'll like walk into a room and then a lamp will just go and it'll like turn into the monster and attack you. So you're making your way through and then you just like shoot a computer
You're like,
screen.
I don't
'cause you're
trust
like, I don't
anything.
know. I don't trust-
Yeah.
It was such a fun game. And then apparently I was actually watching a skill up video. He was going on about how there's a similar game to Deathloop, but it's Prey. It's like a DLC Prey, and it's like a simulation. And he was talking about how, everyone loves Deathloop, and everyone's saying it was good, and it got a bunch of good reviews. And he's like, it's trash compared to Prey's DLC, but no one plays it. There's like every review of it, like there's like it's such a non-existent game. No one tried the game. No one gave it the light of day, and he's like, it was 10 times better. I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. So if you guys are looking for a game to try, if it ever goes on discount, check out Steam, check out Prey. It was a pretty wild ride. So let's move on to Cyberpunk. The investors kind of got destroyed.
I don't know if you remember, we reported on this story like a year ago, right? Back when
things with Cyberpunk move slow, turns out.
That's right. Well, legal things move slow.
Yeah. The game is rushed. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's right. But we reported that the investors were actually suing CD Projekt Red because of the launch, the failures, the fact that they couldn't meet the predicted sales at the time. And so we report on this like it sounded like a big deal. Like all the investors are coming for their throats. They want their money. And so, this past week, we got the news of the settlement and what the investors settled for. And it was a whopping don't quote me on this. I know it was in the ballpark of like $1.3 million.
1.3 million. That's
might sound like a lot.
That's MTash makes more from Raid Shadow Legends in a year than
is,
every investor got in CD Projekt Red.
That's pennies, guys. Pennies. Like, why even go to court for that much? But CD Projekt Red made over $500 million.
Can I say? Obviously, the MTash thing is a joke. MTash does not make $1 million from Raid Shadow Legends, right?
Right, it's $500,000.
Close, but not quite. Yeah, close, but not quite. No, in all honesty, to put this in perspective, 1.3, right? Or 1.4, 1.3?
Something like that.
1.85.
Ninja got paid $1 million to play Apex Legends for a day.
Yeah.
So Ninja made as much as all the investors who got ripped off by CG Project Red. Ninja made basically that much in a day. Just
Yeah.
playing Apex.
Yeah, that's like
That's in
it's like
1.8.
stubbing your toe as a
Right.
corporation or less. No,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, this coffee doesn't taste great.
Yeah.
That's the inconvenience that they just placed on them. Like,
That's
oh,
right.
what's that? You're out of my favorite bagel? Okay, I'll get a different bagel instead. That is
Yeah.
the inconvenience that $2 million, 10 million, 15, 20 million, they'd be like, really? All right, sure, we'll settle for that.
I expected like 50 million, 100 million. You know, that's
I
kind of
don't
the
know.
ballpark.
Yeah.
I
And
was
it's like,
thinking-
why so low? Like, did they not have a case? Like,
Maybe they didn't
the
have a
case
case.
not strong? I don't know.
I was saying like it's gotta be the fact that it's so low, you gotta think like, well, if they would have went to court, they would have lost. And they were just like, go away money. Like, you're gonna lose this. Let's just settle, go away. One point whatever $1 million.
You know, it could be that. It could also be that the investors kind of realize, like, you know, they had that initial, we got to go after our money. And then over the course of time, it's like, is this really what we need to do?
Yeah,
Because
like
CD Projekt Red, I mean, The Witcher on Netflix is popping off. You know,
Yeah.
we don't want to handicap them for future development that we could reap the benefits of. I don't know, like, what happened to there?
yeah, like that's the thing. They still made a lot of money with Cyberpunk, and they're still
Over $500
making
million,
money.
yeah.
And they're still making money, and the game is improving, and so they will make lots more money, especially like when they have the first big DLC and they kind of go in and fix a lot of this stuff. I feel like a lot of people will jump back into Cyberpunk, right? And eventually, especially because The Witcher is so popular, and Season 2, I've heard good things about Witcher Season 2, just came out. They're going to make The Witcher 4 and make $1 bazillion, right?
Mhm.
And so the investors are probably like, well, you know, it's basically on sale right now. Heck, I should pick up some CG Project Red stock right now. 'Cause
No
doubt. It's probably just, I mean, I shouldn't say that because, you know, this is not financial advice. I do nothing but lose money financially. So don't listen to me.
We're the kings of that.
That's right.
It's very interesting because like they bungled 2077 so hard. You wonder, like, does it give you confidence for The Witcher 4, or are they gonna say like never again? We're gonna work so hard on The Witcher. You'd want them to do that. You'd want them, but Battlefield has had bungled launches like 4 times in a row.
And they're doing fine.
They're doing okay, but it's like you'd think this time to be like, hey guys, Battlefield 5 was a launch disaster. Battlefield 4 was a launch disaster. Battlefield 3 was a launch disaster. How about we make sure Battlefield 2042 isn't a launch disaster? Nope.
It's crazy how much these game studios get away with. I could rant about that endlessly. But let's move on to a nicer, a little loving topic. Minecraft, the first video game ever to reach 1 trillion, not billion, 1 trillion views on YouTube. So number one, holy cow.
Half of those are my son.
Right?
I swear.
Yeah.
500 billion just TV.
Just Grady.
That's just insane. And it's like, okay, here I'm gonna look up Dan TDM, his Social Blade, because he was like always really big on Minecraft. I want to see how many views he has. Okay, he has 18 billion views, but he has played a bunch of other games, but 18 billion. He's like,
it's a lot of views.
That's
huge.
nuts.
And let's check Dream. So let's just see what Dream is doing. So he's got, wait, he only has 2 billion views. I mean, 2 billion views is amazing, but Dan has 18 billion and Dream only has 2 billion.
Dream's still pretty new, right?
I guess he's new. And
In the
if you look at the
Steam, sure.
time, yeah, that's true. Dream was made, very recently. His success popped off.
What's log.zip up to?
But like, still, even then, if you add the two together, we're at 20 billion. 20 billion. So how the hell are you getting to 1 trillion? Like, we need.
I mean,
we
yeah, you need 1,000 billion.
980 billion more.
Well,
so it's just
like
all of them put together, all the people.
dude, think about like the original like Captain Sparkles and stuff. How many views he got back in the day with original Minecraft, right? And then it kind of died for a bit, and then it had that unbelievable resurgence.
Right.
Uh
Even on Google Trends, like if you look at it, it is a phenomena.
oh,
Because it's not like they have a bunch of new content.
we should not have been playing Destiny 2 here, boys.
I know,
That was a-
we played our
that
cards
was a
wrong,
bad,
man.
yeah, that was a bad
Tell
call.
you what.
Well, it's also like people like Dream, Tommy in it right now. They're very young. Like they're like 17, 18. They're very young. And that's the audience of Minecraft is like the young. That's why you have like the Dream stands and the stands, right? And like they go on Twitter and like someone says something remotely bad, millions of people come and attack you. And you're like, I didn't even say it was just a joke, right? Like, but that culture of like that stan culture, people are very obsessive over these creators, right? And like Dream fans are just fans, such hardcore fans. Like that's also pushing this engagement. They're watching my fans. Yeah, I love my fans. They don't watch every single video I make multiple times and then share them with all their friends. Dream uploaded. Yo. You know what I mean? Like it is that kind of like stan culture that is, again, a lot of younger kids are doing it, and that's what's going on in Minecraft right now. You had a bit of that with Fortnite. I think they've honestly grown out of it, and then that new wave is with Minecraft. Like Minecraft is like Minecraft and Roblox are like the hot games for that like age demographic.
Roblox has been in some hot water lately, though.
Yeah,
dude, that's a story we should have reported.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at the child labor laws, basically.
Yeah. A guy named Dave made a good comment. Minecraft is literally the equivalent of Lego and will surpass it. Probably. Because kids aren't asking for Lego at Christmas, they're asking for Minecraft skins.
My kid is like, I want Minecraft coins. So he can go to he sits there, I swear he spends half of his time just scrolling through the marketplace looking at maps and adventures and stuff.
Dude,
he has a problem. He needs help. Yeah. He's addicted to Minecraft.
My kid is good.
I remember like playing with Lego, you'd make like a castle, you'd make like a tank or something. You're like, this is so sick, right? But in Minecraft, you can make a castle unlimited. You don't have to buy $400 of Lego. You just build in Minecraft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You buy it once and get more creative opportunities than you could ever see.
The accessibility of Minecraft is something that no other game has even come close to touching. Every game has its audience, right? And it's some niche demographic. Some are bigger, some are smaller. But Minecraft was like, we want to reach everyone in the whole frickin' world. If you suck at video games, you can play our video game. If you're great at video games, you can play our video game and make guides on how to build stuff and make money. Like, it's no matter where you are on the spectrum, Minecraft is something you can get into. Even my wife, who doesn't, she basically just plays like adventure and survival games with me and our friends. Every now and then I'll go upstairs and she's sitting on the couch and she's like building an apartment complex in Minecraft. And I'm like, that looks really good. And she's like, yeah, it's just kind of cathartic. I just kind of zen out and do it, you know? So that's like their success is really rooted in their demographic being so freaking broad. They nailed it.
My prayer is that they make Minecraft 2. It's got all the accessibility, and you've got like basic mode, but then they have a ton of bosses like Terraria. That's the thing I love about Terraria is like there's bosses and it starts with like the Eye of Cthulhu, and it's like a pretty easy boss that you can kill with a bow and a little bit of prep time. And then there's Skeletron, and there's like it kind of moves way up, and then you can unlock hard mode if you beat a harder boss. And then there's like pretty insane bosses where you need good gear and you got to start getting some upgrades. And the whole progression system, like Terraria, is so sick. I think there's maybe, I'm just gonna guess, like 20 bosses. I would love to see that with Minecraft. All the building, keep that the same, but then have some like real progress long term. I think it would be so perfect as a game. It might not be as loved because it maybe adds a little bit more difficulty or depth, but it would get me playing it for sure. I can't do just a regular Minecraft. I've tried and it's cool. I see the potential, but it's just not for me.
I saw something recently where someone made a CPU in Minecraft, like literally built a moving CPU with redstone, a working CPU, and was like, playing. They had like a screen. They were like playing Pong and like games. Like it had memory. It had memory in this Minecraft structure with redstone. I don't even know how. I don't even know. That's insane.
Because you're smart.
And, smarter than me, that's for sure. Like the stuff you could do with that is insane.
Yeah, Gorgon
Yeah,
just donated, said, don't forget
the
about making
music.
music using Minecraft. Yeah.
I can still hear, if I want to hear the like normal like melon, like the tune when you first spawn in on like the grassland. I can still hear it.
Yeah. Shiver, 10 months. Thanks for becoming a real gamer hour. And a guy named Dave with an elite gamer. Thank you so much. Yeah, Minecraft, limitless possibilities. It will be around for our kids and probably their kids. Like, it's not going anywhere. And maybe
It's
they
like
update it, but it's
like
truly
kids-
universal.
Kids want to be creative, like, and Minecraft is like the ultimate outlet for that. Like, I can't, like, not
only that,
not the games come close.
Not only that, but like the people who make map packs and skins and stuff in Minecraft are so talented that no matter what's relevant at the time, if it's Jurassic World, right? And kids today love Jurassic World. Well, guess what Minecraft has? A ton of Jurassic World stuff that you can spend Minecraft money on, right? It doesn't matter. Like, whatever's relevant at the time, Minecraft is going to have something that hits that thing that your kid is interested in or that you're interested in. Maybe you're like, dude, I really dig The Mandalorian. Well, guess what? Every episode of The Mandalorian, those spaces have been built in Minecraft.
Yep.
You spend some coins, you can go there, you can do Mandalorian stuff. You know, it doesn't matter. And that's the thing about Minecraft that I think makes it so successful, is that it's constantly changing and developing by the users themselves, making things, creating things. And Mojang's like, yeah, go for it, guys. You guys are great. Keep doing what you're doing.
So someone in chat just said that my answer or my prayers might have been answered by this game called Hytale. I'm just gonna pull up the trailer here as well. He's saying it's like exactly what I'm saying is like Minecraft, but there's just more depth to it, and like there's some bosses you can fight and everything. And then you were saying Riot picked them up to help fund this. I don't know if that's true. I would need to research it. I haven't had the time. But like that could be amazing. Minecraft with some bosses and more depth. I mean, it looks similar to Minecraft. We'll have to see. But I think that these games, you'd be stupid not to build for this demographic. It's so big, and there's only one person that's doing it well. Look at these enemies. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This game looks really good. Hytale, if you guys are listening, when you get home, Hytale, Hytale. They've got orcs. It looks like riding horses. There's mounts. He's got a flaming sword and enchantments of some sort. This looks like it has some potential, and apparently it's coming out in 2023. We're gonna have to wait to see.
Sponsor us. We'll do some promo stuff for you.
Yeah, Hytale. Shout out to your boy.
We'll
Give
check
me
it
the
out.
DMs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that looks freaking sweet.
I'm always looking to
Oh,
sell
you're
out.
building your little base?
Well, look at that guy.
This is sick.
Yeah, there's like dungeons and spells, and okay, that looks sick. I'll put the trailer in the comments here on YouTube so you guys can check it out yourself. And
My man's scuba diving, and there's a freaking pirate ship under there. That's cool.
I know, badass. So that's gonna be it for the main topics today, but we're gonna take a couple minutes to do some RGH After Dark. We can reply to some questions and comments and just say, "Happy holidays, you filthy animals." You know,
Yeah, filthy animals.
Yeah.
Any of you guys in chat? No spoilers. Any of y'all in chat watching season 2 of The Witcher? How you digging it?
Not yet.
I'm having a lot of fun watching it. My wife has not played any of the Witcher games, and even she's liking it. But I think it's just because Henry Cavill is a beautiful man. But
A little
I
too
love
beautiful. It's getting annoying. I'm scared.
I love how
You have to be good at
nerdy-
everything.
That's right. I love how nerdy that guy is. I was watching an interview with the actresses who play Yennefer and Ciri, and they were saying like Henry Cavill is so funny because on set you'd be filming and like in between shots he'd just be nerding out and he'd lean over to you and be like, "Did you know that in the original source material, like Vesemir is actually," he like unpacks everything, and they're joking. They're like, he knows more about The Witcher than the producers, than the writers, than anybody else on set, and he's over here nerding out about it. I love that.
yeah, he's got like a YouTube video and is like building his first like custom PC, and he's like putting all the parts together, and everyone was like freaking out about it. And
That's right.
it's cool though because that's the thing is like, every video game, movie, and show gets botched. Just just brutalized, like truly brutalized. And so, I just hope that people like that who are actually invested in gaming read the scripts and go, "What are you doing?" And hopefully catch it before it gets made. Because like there's a Last of Us show being recorded. Actually, fun fact,
with Pedro Pascal
in Edmonton, they were
Are they
filming.
really?
They were filming a bunch of it. Yeah, like right underneath my brother's apartment, they were filming on.
No
that
way.
street. Yeah,
Was
they had
Pedro
like.
there?
Yeah, they had like. Yeah, they had like
The
everything.
Mandalorian himself.
Yeah, I had a friend who saw them when they were in Mount Royal filming.
Yeah.
Filming too. And they're like, "Don't
Pretty
take
cool.
any pictures."
So that's pretty bizarre. My brother was like looking off the ledge, taking pictures. My buddy lives in that building too, and he just saw like all the vehicles and like it looked pretty cool. Cool set. But yeah, they just I don't know. It's like, who are they getting to make these movies? And like, are the game studios just selling the rights to these studios, and they're like, yeah, you can go make a movie without trying to protect their brand a little bit? Because I can imagine it hurts your brand if you have a terrible movie.
Star Wars, a multi-billion-dollar franchise. You couldn't even get the same director lined up for the last 3 movies, dude. They're like, they had J.J. Abrams, and they're like, oh, he's not going to be around. We'll give it to another guy. The other guy's like, I'm going to do my own thing. And then J.J. Abrams came back, and he's like, no, we're gonna change it back on my track. And that's why they don't feel like as conjoined. Like, I'm not a fan. I'm not going to get into a big argument, but I think most people would probably agree that it's like, that is such a wild move. Like, you'd think you'd have the same director locked in, your vision, throughout all 3 of these movies, because it does feel like it takes like a hard left in the middle movie and then like an overcorrection. It's like, how could you not do that? You just bought it for ever many $billion.
Let Dave Filoni do everything.
Yeah, well, or just get this.
Everything.
Hey, if you want, whatever the guy who directed Last Jedi is, Dingus McCringus. All right. Right? At least have him for all 3 so he can see his vision through.
Consistency, yeah.
Right?
Because
right. I mean, a little bit of spoilers if you haven't seen the new Star Wars, but I'm sure everyone has at this point. I think the most jarring thing is in the second one where they kill Snoke, right? They kill the big villain, right? And then in the third one, they're like, because every single Star Wars has operated on, you have the main villain, but the main villain has hints of good and bad. Darth Vader, right? Showed mercy at times and obviously redeemed at the end. Then you have like a pure evil villain. The Emperor was originally the Emperor. Where like they're the real ones controlling controlling things, and they're like the real culprit, and they're pure evil. There's no good to them, right? Because once you redeem the villain, there's no villain. So you have to have this overarching villain.
Yes.
So they did the same thing with the new ones, right? Kylo Ren is the bad guy, but he has flashes of good, and he has to struggle with the dark side. You don't know where he's going to turn, but then Snoke controls everything. But they killed Snoke in the second one, so in the third one, they're like, bro, what do we do? Out of literally nowhere, Palpatine's back.
Somehow Palpatine's returned.
That will be memed on for the rest of time, is that you have one of the most iconic villains returning, and you don't have a scene where, like, who's there from the darkness? Someone's getting choked. Pans to it's freaking Palpatine, right? None of that. It's just like in the text of somehow Palpatine's freaking back, bro.
Doesn't the one guy literally say that? He's like, somehow
Palpatine's returned.
Doesn't he literally say those lines?
He literally says it.
All right,
dude. It says in the text, like, they received a radio transmission. Palpatine's back. That's pretty crazy. Anyways, it's like, are you serious? That's what he says.
LOL, WTF, thought he died. Whoa.
And that's how they say they're like training, and then they bring it together for a meeting. And basically the first 5 minutes are like, got a radio call.
Crazy thing.
Palpatine's back. It's like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah.
What can you do?
But so that's just an example of, like, if they're able to bungle Star Wars like that, not even have a plan for all 3 movies for Star Wars, like, how? Like, of course you're gonna mess up, all these other random video game movies. So, like, I feel like they are finally realizing that if you get people who care about it, like Mandalorian, right? It would it's really gonna help things going forward.
We got a $2 donation from Gorgonak. Thank you so much. Shiver with a $5 donation. Palpatine was garbage in that movie. Andrew Preston with $10. Happy holidays. Shout out to Cactus and MTash for that collab video with the Jez. Thanks for watching the collabs because those are sponsored, and the more views, the better it looks for us. So that's amazing.
That's right.
Shout out TV and his video on the last word. Hey TV, did you get Zer's tap the trigger sidearm?
Did not. No, I don't. I haven't actually physically gone to Zer on my account in probably.
And probably how long? Your mic cut out.
A couple of years. It's been a long time. I just don't care about Zer anymore. I know that lately he sold some cracked stuff, but what I do is I log into my son's account and I pick up the god rolls and stuff on his.
You pick up the Lunafaction, 68 Lunafaction?
I picked up the 68 Lunafactions. I would not have known about them had I not watched your video.
Did it have a good stat distribution as well?
It did actually. It had like a lot of recovery and some intellect, I think.
Actually, I was watching your guide for the final boss for the dungeon. You talked about that. Anyways, go ahead.
Just a heads up, I did report you now for account sharing because you're not allowed to do that in Destiny anymore. So,
banned. You hop on your son's account. Battle Eye's gonna get you, baby.
Buy a loot for
you're
him,
done for.
Yeah, you're done.
Right. Well, you can check the Crucible stats on that account. You know I don't play on it for him. Tell you what.
Now, I'm not sure
you
why.
say, bro, this kid sucks. This kid's got to get his elo up.
He's working on it. He's growing.
I'm not sure why, if it's Discord or someone's connection, but the audio is cutting out. So I think we should cut the episode now before it completely botches it.
Before we budget, we said at the beginning we got to have a little bit, really quick. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about.
How are they going to do that if they can't hear anyone, Cacus?
They can hear fine. It's already fixed itself. You're fine.
All right.
Christmas tips for gaming. What do you get your gamers?
Well, my recommendation is go back in time so you have time to get it before Christmas would be my recommendation.
True.
My biggest tip is that you should definitely go to manscaped.com and use code TrueVanguard to get 20% off and free shipping.
Nice.
Tell grandma your undercarriage is out of control.
Or you could go to displate.com and go to the Cacus HD Displate. I got my favorite collections right there. But in all seriousness, I think some good things. If your gamer, significant other, son, whatever, has a PC, often peripherals are needed in some way. A new keyboard, a new mouse, even like a new quality mouse pad.
Like the big wide mouse pads. You can get them printed with like whatever they're interested. If they're into The Mandalorian or The Witcher, you can get like really nice mouse pads that have like a really cool custom print on it.
There's a lot of like peripherals you can do. A new monitor is obviously getting like pretty expensive and stuff like that. But certainly like you can get like if they have not the best, keyboard, mouse pad are some really easy ones to do. And then for your console gamers, obviously like the new console is the best thing. You could just at this point, it's like if you don't know what to buy someone, buy them a year's of like Xbox Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Point.
Yeah,
even
that's what we got my father-in-law.
Game Pass on PC. Just say, hey, we got it for you. Year or 2 years. It's pretty cheap. Like even like 2 years is like pretty cheap. 2 years membership, you get whatever you want, and they maybe if they don't have it yet, it's like such a good deal, especially if you have like a kid and you're like, I don't know what to get this kid. Game Pass, it's
like here's 200 games, kid, have fun.
Yeah, like download whatever you want. There's like it's nonstop. And also, here's a tip: instead of getting I'm telling you, this, if you're a parent, like this gift goes such a long way. If your kid wants a game and it's like kind of on the cheaper end, like Minecraft's only like $20. Game Pass is certainly on the cheaper end. A year of Game Pass in total is like not that much. Especially like the first few months are $1, and then it jumps up to $15. I don't know. It's gonna be like $50 for a year, something like that. Buy 2 copies, one for them, one to give to a friend. I'm telling you, that will go such a long way. Like, hey, I got 2 copies of Minecraft. You want Minecraft? Here's Minecraft for yourself, and I got a second copy. Give it to whatever friend you want, because it's so much more fun to play with a friend, right? Yeah. And they have that extra copy that they can give whatever friend didn't get it for the Christmas, and then they can get him in there as well or her in there as well.
Yeah.
It's huge.
This has actually been a great way for my son to bond with his grandparents. Is that both my dad and my wife's dad are like peripheral gamers, but we got them Game Pass. So now my son actually links up with them and plays. Sometimes at night he'll be like, "Hey, can you text Poppy and see if he's available?" And I'll text him, and he's like, "Sure, I'll hop on." And then they play video games together. It's like my son and his grandfather are now playing a video game together for 45 minutes to an hour, just shooting the breeze. That's great for kids, and it's great for
bonding,
grandpa too. Yeah.
Yeah, get some V-Bucks for Fortnite if they're playing Fortnite. I mean, that's pretty easy too, because they don't have credit cards and they want to get some skins or the battle pass or whatever. Like, honestly, gaming isn't going everywhere or going anywhere, and kids really enjoy gaming, and like, you can fight it, but it will not go away. And like, if you put in good boundaries for your kids and explain, like, if your grades are good, if you can like make some friends, you can play video games. Like, if you get your homework done, if you do some chores around the house, like stuff like that, is like, they need to earn their playtime. But I don't think that gaming is necessarily a bad thing. Creativity. We're just talking about Minecraft. The amount of brain power you're using to do some of these things in Minecraft, and the skills you can learn. Playing online with friends. I mean, these guys right here. I talked to them before I ever got to meet them, and they're some of my best friends. And a lot of my friends are all people that I met online. And the people that I bonded with most, even in high school, when I did have friends that I would see at hockey, the ones I'm closest with are the ones that I played games with at home after we were done hockey, after we were done school. Those are the ones that became my long-term friends.
Get home, get on Modern Warfare 2.
Right?
We're grinding those fall camos, baby.
That's right.
And so, like, another gift is just like try to understand your kids and their gaming, and like, if you're trying to hunt down this gift, I think that's a great first step. Like, it truly is a great first step, is like, what do you need for your gaming setup? Like, what would change your gaming setup for the better? That's my recommendation, is just like, as long as you're doing it in a healthy way, is like, embrace that gaming a little bit. My dad would always say, "Stop gaming. Why don't you just watch TV for a bit?" And I'm like, "What? You want me to sit and watch TV?" And he's like, "Yeah, just do something different. Just watch some TV." And it's like, so you want me to sit there and just mindlessly look at ads and watch the show instead of actively playing a game where I'm thinking and reacting,
developing
and like
hand-eye coordination?
Like, it just doesn't make sense. A lot of parents just don't get it. And I mean, I'm sure many parents now are kind of like us, like they grew up with gaming, so it's not as much of an issue. But, just ask them. Just what would help your gaming setup, and you'll get your best answer.
Absolutely.
Especially because some people have invested in different things. Like, you go and buy them a nice $300 monitor, and it's like, yeah, I have a better monitor than this because I've invested in it. Like, for your husband, or like, yeah, I've got a brand new keyboard. Why would I want a new keyboard? Like, just try to get some ideas from them. Anyways, that's going to be pretty much it for the RGH episode number 66. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow. We typically do this on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, but we had to move it because of the holiday season. We'll be on next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time, for episode 67. I'm Mtashed.
Oh, wait. Hot tub stream for episode 69?
We're going to have to see, baby. Yeah.
I'm Cactus HD.
I'm True Vanguard.
And this was the Real Gamer Hour.
See ya.
Bye.